Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop, and today I've got a little bit of a different project, and it actually needs to use my Onefinity CNC router. And this has not seen a lot of use over the past few months. I've actually upgraded to the Journeyman rail from the Woodworker. Haven't upgraded my spoil board yet, but that's okay. The project we're working on is still going to fit in this area. We're going to be engraving a Bourbon Barrel lid, and I've done this a couple times for a friend of mine, asked me to do another one, so I thought, why not bring you along and show you some of the steps I do. I'm not going to go into full detail of everything, but just kind of be a bit of a teaser of using a CNC router and carving out a Bourbon Barrel. So if you want to check that out and learn a little bit more about using these or how I do this, stay tuned. We're going to jump right into it. All right, so I'm just going to kind of show you in Vectric what I've got set up. So I've set my working area to the size of the Bourbon Barrel. It's roughly 21 inches, maybe 21 and a quarter. So the outer circle is the actual edge of the Bourbon Barrel, and then the inner circle kind of represents the charred area. So that kind of has that bevel where the lid kind of fits into the staves and such and seals off the barrel. And so I wanted to kind of work off that, and then I had a couple of constraints as far as clamps and such, and I never like to get too close to your edge because that's when it starts showing that you might be off center more. But brought the graphic in, and let me just go ahead and turn off our, there we go, now we can see a little better, our tool paths. But I brought in the graphic. They had provided me with a vector graphic of their logo, and we've got a few interesting details over here to make that glass look a little more three-dimensional. We'll see if those come out. A lot of times I might take those out and refine this a little bit. But we're going to leave that in and see how it comes out. But the rest of this is just, you know, the text and the graphic for the stethoscope. And we're going to be doing a full-up V-carve. So I measured this out. I spaced it out from the center. And we are going to be referencing the center of the lid when we set this up. So as you can see over here in my job dimensions and origins, we got the 21 inches by 21. It's a little over an inch thick, but I'm not totally concerned about that because we're just queuing off the top. And then our XY datum is, again, in the center. So that's going to be 0, 0 when we go to set our 0 point on the machine. So then over here in our tool paths, I've got one tool path, and that is just a V-carve. We are using an Amana 45 624 60-degree V-groove bit. That's a 1/4 inch shank and has 3 flutes on it. Let's just take a look here. We are going to be running this at a depth of 0.217 for the final pass depth. That is the kind of the maximum that it's supposed to be able to do in a pass, and then 85 to 90 inches per minute on our feed rate. Plunge rate of 20. So there's all your stats for how this bit is going to work. So here's the preview for the path, and this is roughly what it should look like. If we want to, we can reset that and actually play it. If you've never used V-carve, this is just one thing you can kind of watch to see the direction it's going to go. And if you see anything you don't like, you can go in and try to tweak that, make some adjustments. But you can then also adjust with speed. Now, I could use a clearing path in here, but I'm not going to. It will go pretty quickly with just this bit. And this is kind of has that little rustic barrel look anyway, so having a few extra lines in there is not going to be bad. But there you see how our engrave should look at the end. Now the laptop's only rendering it at so much quality, but looking pretty good. And then again, if we come over here, we've got the Onefinity set up as our post processor. And so if we run our calculations, V-carve is saying it's going to take 23 minutes and 13 seconds. Once we get it loaded into the Onefinity, we'll see how long it thinks it's going to take. But other than this, we'll go ahead and save that off to our flash drive and get it loaded into the machine. So I've got the Bourbon Barrel lid clamped down to the spoil board on the Onefinity, and I've already zeroed it in position and depth. Now, the way they want it, they want the natural burn on here. So it's not perfectly flat. I've gotten it flattened out as best I can. So that's going to have a little bit of an effect on here, but they really want that natural look in this carve. So we're going to roll with that, and I'll show you really quick the setup in the bit, and then we'll get to carving this. All right, so you can see here on the Onefinity, we've got it all zeroed out. The Z is just up a little higher, obviously. It's estimating roughly just under 20 minutes for this carve. And down here we got all our G code. And we're running this with the Amana V-bit 3 flute here, 60 degree. So I've got it spaced out, it's about 15 inches. So the furthest it should come over is roughly here. That gives us plenty of width so that this does not interfere with this clamp. Same thing on this side, it's gonna come over to this side. So we shouldn't have any conflicts with these clamps, and then the rest of these are below the surface. I just needed to hold these sides down a little bit so it doesn't want to curl up on me as well. So I'm not going to be running dust collection on here because, again, I didn't want that dust boot in the way. So we'll just be kind of spot checking it as it goes. And other than that, I'm going to fire this up and we'll get it going. All right, so the carve is done. There's just a few fuzzies left over, maybe some areas to touch up. And so we're gonna use a few tools of the trade to clean that up. We've got some sandpaper on tongue depressor, sandpaper on this kind of little crevice tool, a razor blade just for cleaning off any of the thicker fuzzies, and this is a wire brush that will help get in there and also clean them out. So let's take care of that quick. And there we go. It is looking much cleaner. All the edges and the fuzzies are out of there. Some things you notice, sometimes you get little things in there you can't, you're not gonna know until you carve them out. So you're just gonna have to deal with that as best you can. Obviously, if you can avoid cutting on these lines, these joints, that would help. But it is what it is with this. They specifically want this bourbon barrel lid this way for obvious reasons. So we're making the best product out of it, what we can, without being able to have, perfectly flat, smooth, clean surfaces and glue joints. But all right, and here you have it, the finished project. It's worked out pretty well with just a couple of minor issues with just the way the lid was. We have a little bit of glue in here, and due to the curve, there's just, you can barely tell it, but there's just a little loss of detail here where the wood was curved up a little bit higher than my zero here. But all in all, for this project being a little more rustic on, the natural burned barrel lid itself, those little minor things are okay. It's actually going to possibly add to the character of this project. So I am going to get this delivered to my friend. He's going to deliver it to our lovely friends over here at the Bourbon Doctors, and they will
do with it as they see fit. Maybe we'll see it in their channel. Maybe it's personal decoration. I don't know. It's just kind of cool to be able to do these projects for friends and other creators. So if you're interested in this item and the channel that is about, I will have a link down to them below, and you can definitely go check them out. Just always happy to spread the love to other content creators here on this platform. So I will have a few links down below to other things in my workshop that I do find useful. Some of those may be affiliate links, and I do appreciate you using them as they do help support this channel, and some supplies and materials and stuff so I can do more projects out here and share them with you. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can get out into your workshop too. We'll catch you next time.